Hello and welcome into another edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin Hickson. I am your lead beat writer for the Arizona State Sun Devils on SI and your host of this daily Sun Devils Insider Podcast. And we are about 18 hours out, 16, 18 hours out since Arizona State men's basketball team failed to continue the momentum that they had built with the two previous home wins over the last 11 days or so. They lost to the Baylor Bears, who had been struggling. They were on a four-game losing streak going into the game. They went into the game with only three Big 12 victories, and now all the positive momentum that has been built up over the last 2 weeks is seemingly not there anymore. Uh, Bobby Hurley and his team have to go back to square one, and it doesn't appear as if things will get any better for the Sun Devils in the weeks ahead as far as injury viability is concerned. So it's not the most promising arrangement for the Sun Devils right now. And time is running short. That's the resounding theme throughout this 2 week stretch or so left in the regular season. Time is running short. And if you look at Arizona State's season, it's been a success for the most part. I mean, they went into the season with a lot of people believing that they would be one of the worst teams in the Power Five, uh, if you include the Big East part of that. Uh, they were picked to finish dead last in the Big 12 going into the season. Expectations were very, very tempered, and if they haven't proven to be a quality team, they've been proven to be a team that is at least frisky, and that's a good thing. They are top 70 in offensive efficiency. They're top 100 in defensive efficiency. That's a borderline quality team. I think that this team is a quality team. I really do. I mean, you look at their season, you look at the games they lost, and we all know the adage that losses only count or close only counts in uh horseshoe throws, and um that's kind of how it feels with Arizona State because they've been competitive in all but two of their 13 losses. I mean, you go back to the beginning of the season. They were competitive in their loss to USC. They were competitive in their loss to Gonzaga. They were competitive in their loss to, although they shouldn't have lost it to Oregon State. They were competitive against Arizona both times they played them. Really, the only games they weren't competitive in any way were their losses to BYU on the road and Houston on the road, which that's understandable. Uh, at the end of the day, like I said, opportunities are dwindling. Tournament hopes appear to be next to none again after they rose to about 10 to 15%, depending on who you asked. Um, the benchmark to reach the tournament is still probably about 18 or 19 wins still. Well, they're at 14 wins right now. They have four regular season games left. So that means if they swept the rest of the regular season, got to 18 wins with wins over Texas Tech, Hawaii, Texas, Santa Clara, Kansas, and Iowa State. If you have all those wins plus TCU on the road, you're probably getting in with 18 wins, regardless of what you do in the Big 12 tournament. The thing is, beating Kansas and Iowa State in back-to-back games to close the regular season is a lot easier said than done. I'd say the probability of them winning both those games is probably well under 10%, probably about 3 to 5%. So that's looking way ahead. That's still 2 weeks away. For now, we are going to look at what this next week presents Arizona State challenge wise. So, uh, Arizona State obviously is going to continue their trek into Texas. They will play TCU on Tuesday night. TCU has won four of their last five games. Uh, it hasn't always been pretty for the Horned Frogs. They've gone through a lot this season. They've had a lot of evolution. They've had some big wins, some big losses. But Jamie Dixon's squad continues to fight, and it's going to be an absolute dogfight against them. It's probably going to be another low scoring game that comes down to the last few possessions. I mean, you look at TCU season, they have lost to the University of New Orleans. They lost to Kansas in overtime in a game that they were up by about 15 in the second half. They lost a game to Utah, who is probably the worst team in the Big 12. They got shellacked by Colorado and UCF. But if you look at the wins that they have, they took down Florida. They almost took down Michigan, which probably helps their cause in net rankings and all that. They beat Iowa State less than 2 weeks ago. Uh, they're coming off of a win over West Virginia on on Saturday. A gritty 60 to 54 win, and that's one thing. 60 to 54 over West Virginia, 62-55 over Iowa State. The first time they played Oklahoma State, they won 68-65. They beat Baylor 69-63. This is a team that is very adept in winning games in different scenarios, different manners. Obviously, they're a balanced scoring team, I'd say. They're not a great shooting team, but they move the ball well. They average about 16 assists per game. They score inside the arc well, and David Punch is one of the better players in the Big 12. If you just look at his raw stats, 14 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, 2 assists per game, 2 blocks per game, and a steal and a half per game. He's a very balanced player. Jamie Dixon is a great coach. That's going to be a challenge for Arizona State. If they are able to manage and get out with a win, then you have Utah at home on Saturday, February 28th. That's going to be a massive game for the Sun Devils. They cannot afford to lose that game in any imagination of the word. Uh, Utah is the only Big 12 team with a net in the 100 range, I believe. We have to bring up the fact that Utah, as Arizona State fans saw in the previous matchup that they had with Utah, uh, Utah has a dynamic guard duo that really has the potential to swing the pendulum. Terrence Brown and Don McHenry. Don McHenry had a great game against Arizona State. Terrence Brown, not so much. I believe he had one of his worst games of his junior season against ASU. He shot just 2 of 16. Uh, he kind of rebounded. They did lose to UCF yesterday, but he scored 21 points on 15 shots. He did bounce back. And that's the concern for Arizona State in the Utah game. What if Don McHenry and Terrence Brown both get hot? That might be a challenging game to overcome even at home, even against the Utah team that you should beat. But we'll see what happens over the next several days. If Arizona State manages to win those two games, they do have a renewed hope once again. If they split the two games, it's probably over. If they lose both games, they're below 500 for the first time this season. And that's all she wrote if that happens. Until then, continue to stay tuned with Arizona State on SI for all of the best Arizona State content on the marketplace. And thank you so much for tuning into another edition of the Sun Devils Insider podcast. and I will see you with another episode tomorrow. Thank you so much.